In one breath, the Minister of Finance will tell you, oh, we are not borrowing money. In another breath, it will come back and tell you that, oh, we have borrowed money, but it's just like a free money because the interest rate is just 1% and we are going to be paying in for the next 40 years. I don't even know what he was talking about. The only thing I could pick from what he said was that they were not ready to borrow money because Nigerians were like, oh, yes, so it was the money that Buhari borrowed, and they were telling us that that was the reason why we were having all these problems. And they say, oh, they are not going to borrow, they know how to get it from the money they are going to be getting from subsidy removal and all of that. Is they are going to do something, but unfortunately they cannot even, they can't go far. And the people have been providing solutions to them that it is production through production that will be able to get it right to a very large extent. But see for where now they have gone back to borrowing. But the main cocoa now is that in the last 6 months of 2023, the president Tinubu, okay, received an additional 3.8 trillion naira in what appeared to be 3.8 trillion naira in what appeared to be a fresh ways and means borrowing. This was confirmed in a provisional data published in the latest statistics bulletin for the fourth quarter of the year, recently released by the Central Bank of Nigeria. This is despite claims by the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, while they know that the President Bola Tinubu government had not borrowed money from the CBN. Okay, how Tinubu government borrowed over 3.8 trillion naira from Nigeria Central Bank in 6 months. I told you that man was making mouth. Yeah, he was making mouth. The CBN's provisional data show that the total figure rose from 4.4 trillion naira at the end of June 2023, meaning that the cumulative ways and means balances due by the government grew to 8.2 trillion naira as at December 2023. Total ways and means balances as at May 2023, when the Tinubu administration took over, was 26.95 trillion naira. However, the balances were securitized as included as part of the federal government's domestic debt profile. According to Daily Trust, a breakdown of the data shows that the balance at the end of June 2023 was 4.3 trillion naira, indicating that prior the month balances may have been moved to the debt management office. However, from July 2023, the balances increase every month, first to 4.5 trillion naira in July, then 5.1 trillion naira in August, crossing the 5.1 trillion naira mark for the first time. By September, the total was 6.4 trillion naira, representing the single largest additional borrowing for a month, with about 1.3 trillion naira. It then climbed to 7.2 trillion naira in October before rising marginally to 7.6 trillion naira in November. At the end of the year, in December, the total hit 8.21 trillion naira, suggesting that ways and means increased by 88% in 6 months. And while Edun was saying that they have not borrowed money from the CBN. So you can imagine, just from the day they came on board, they started borrowing money. So why was the man lying? Why was Wale Edun lying that they had not borrowed money? Like they always tell some people, you can run, but you can hide, but you cannot run, or whichever way. Wonders, wonder. We never see this kind of wonders before. I'm surprised that some people, especially from the West, don't even want to tolerate opposition and criticism when during the Goodluck Jonathan's regime, which was miles better than this current government, can ever be. They were freely opposing. Can never be. They were freely opposing and criticizing the government. Even had a massive protest in Lagos, Occupy Lagos. Now they can't even tolerate opposition. You see what you give, and the best way to silence opposition is to perform better. That's it. Then which country own the central bank for borrow? Are they supposed to borrow? If it is a good thing, I don't think anybody will be talking about it. So why did the Minister of Finance said they had not borrowed money? Most of these people are just something else. We all know Tinubu would have been better in the opposition party and would have criticized and oppose more if he was in the opposition, since most media houses are owned by those from the southwest. Okay. Well, we still love our executive president, of course, and the suffering will continue. Nigeria will prosper. Implications of central bank lending money to the federal government. The implications of a central bank lending money to federal government can vary depending on several factors, including the size of the loans, the purpose of the borrowing, and the overall economic conditions. Here are some potential implications. One, monetary policy impact. If the central bank purchases government securities to lend money to the government, it increases the money supply in the economy. This can lead to lower interest rates, which may stimulate borrowing and spending, potentially boosting economic activity. However, if the increase in the money supply is excessive, it could fuel inflationary pressures. Second is fiscal policy implications. Government borrowing from the central bank can be a source of financing for fiscal deficits. While this may provide short-term relief for government budgetary needs, excessively reliance on central bank financing can lead to concerns about fiscal discipline and long-term sustainability. It could also crowd out private investment if the government's borrowing competes with private borrowers for funds. Thirdly, inflationary pressures. If the increase in the money supply resulting from central bank lending to the government is not matched by an increase in real economic output, this can lead to inflationary pressures. Excessive inflation can erode the purchasing power of money, reduce savings, and distort economic decision making. Fourthly, exchange rate effect. Central bank financing of government deficits can influence exchange rates. If the increase in the money supply leads to this depreciation of the domestic currency, it can affect imports, exports, and overall trade balances. This in turn can impact economic competitiveness and external stability. Fifth, central bank independence. Excessive central bank financing of government deficits can raise concerns about central bank independence. Central banks are typically tasked with maintaining price stability and promoting economic stability, and excessive government influence on monetary policies decisions could undermine these objectives. Overall, while central bank lending to the government can provide short-term support for fiscal needs, it's essential to balance such actions with considerations of long-term economic stability, inflationary risk, and the maintenance of central bank independence. This person just dey speak English wey be say you know fit good economists educate them, please. As if you can see the positive results. All these things are just English. This person is just writing like somebody who is writing an exam. You just write. We are talking of we are writing theory, practical, in a practical sense. That is not what it is. You say educate them, because this one don't speak. Don't go cram something. Maybe economics 101 now. I will micro and macro economics now 101. Don't go cram now. You can't write now for that. It does not make sense. These are the things we have been hearing over the time. Oh, wow. So guys, let's know what you think. Thank you.